So we got PS5, Sony reportedly increasing production to 10 million consoles in 2020. So this is of IGN. Adam Bankhurst has the article. Sony is reportedly increasing its PlayStation 5 production to 10 million units in 2020 as it, quote, sees the prolonged effects of the COVID-19 pandemic boosting demand for gaming. As reported by Nikkei Asian Review and Bloomberg, Sony had originally planned to produce 5 to 6 million consoles by the end of March 2021, but the change in demand due to global pandemic has caused it to change course. Sony is said to have begun PS5 mass production in June, and under the latest plan, expects to assemble 5 million units by the end of September and another 5 million between October and December. Not all 10 million may make it to store shelves in 2020, however, as logistical delays may delay a percentage of the PlayStation 5 consoles in 2021. A big factor in the potential delay for some of the stock is due to shipping constraints, as a large proportion of Sony's consoles are made in China and sent out via sea around the world. It could take months for these consoles to make it from China to US and Europe via ocean lines, which can cause issues keeping PS5s in stock. Sony is also said to be increasing production for the PS5's DualSense controller. It had originally planned on producing 10 million units. Callum, what do you think about this? Although as I read the article, the idea of a lot of these PS5s locked onto a shipping container somewhere in the ocean and just taking months to get here, and some dude who's just like in a crowd of PS5s just kind of messing around and playing with them. It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
But how do you feel? This gives me more hope that we can actually get our hands on this thing.
Yeah. I think it's cool. It obviously something's changed logistically to influence that decision. I mean, I think I was always gonna pre-order it as soon as I could anyway, just in case, because I'd hate to not have one day one. But it's really cool. It means that that people they're not necessarily going to go down that route of that Nintendo always go down, where they purposely hold back production so that it makes it more attractive. Because I think it's a clever move. I mean, it clearly works for Nintendo. But it's just kind of like annoying, like especially like when the secret's out, like why they're doing it.
Yeah,
it doesn't have that same effect. That's cool. It's nice for them to just be normal about it and just put them on shelves as many as they can.
Now, I wonder, within that article, they mentioned Sony expecting a bigger demand. Is that because maybe I wonder if that gives us any idea on the price. Does that mean that the price is actually going to be something that people can afford, more like a $400 range, $450, and whatever that translates to pounds? But like, I wonder if it's going to be a cheaper thing than we thought, so that more people are going to be able to jump in and they're going to have higher demand versus that huge price tag that maybe we feared, and less people are going to jump in. I wonder if that gives us an idea on what they're going to end up charging for this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely be that. I mean, it could also be their sort of gauge on the reaction of when they revealed the console. Because before that, it was very up and down, wasn't it? Everyone was getting pretty frustrated that they hadn't shown anything. Getting worried. Nobody enjoyed the Mark Cerny Power Hour thing. So it was all sort of looking a bit, sketchy. In that respect, and then when they revealed it, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, I'm completely on board." So it might just be them monitoring that, seeing people were a lot more positive about it. Maybe they were expecting or just gauging the negativity and thinking, "Oh, we'll lower production or whatever." So it could be something to do with that. But yeah, hopefully the price is manageable. You'd hope that the fact they've built it like big so that it's got like good thermals and things, you'd hope that is actually an indicator that it's going to be cheaper, because they've gone for just airflow rather than something sophisticated to keep it small and compact and still cool. So you're hoping that they've just opted for a bigger shell to reduce cost on researching thermals and things like that. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? We'll know when we see it. It's all speculation at the moment, but yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if it was cheaper than £500 or $500. Just because I think that's a completely fair asking price for what we're getting. I think it's even quite cheap for what it is. I mean, it's not cheap in the grand scheme of things. I mean, that's a lot of money, but like we were saying, I think last week, about mobile phones costing like at least 1,000. It really isn't that expensive, especially when those exact same payment plans exist for games consoles that do for mobile phones. So I mean, I'm still expecting a pretty hefty price tag.
Yeah, I think me as well with that. But yeah, you have a good
Yeah.
point with them going with that larger size, and maybe it's been said before, but yeah, they don't have to settle or like make as many custom made parts to get it smaller and get these like smaller cards
Hmm.
and whatever chipsets to fit into a smaller box. They can kind of get maybe somewhat off the shelf kind of PC parts, not necessarily, but like they
Yeah.
can get stuff that isn't as
Yeah.
customizable or custom made that can fit in there and would reduce the price as well on top of that. And that helps
Yeah.
with airflow. I know I guess the PS4 had issues. Well, I mean, it for sure does with the airflow with the fan going out of control, but
Mm.
also that's the thermal thing. I always hear that people's like PS4s are crazy loud, but that's like the thermal paste that wasn't properly secured or enough of it was put in those base models, and so they dealt with that loud fan. The loud fans in general. So this is them hopefully
Yeah.
combating that. But yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder
Yeah.
what this means for the price with the size of this thing.
Yeah, yeah. I think like the loud fans is it's annoying, but it's nothing really normally to worry about. It's the same as like when your PC fans start whirring and things like that. It's just they only kick in because things are getting hot. So if they're loud, it means they're working, which is always good. And I imagine the PS5 is going to be loud as well. I doubt that's going to be something that. When they say, because they said that it's larger for thermal reasons, didn't they? And I doubt it's larger so that it can be more quiet. I think it's just larger so that there's more airflow. It can keep the internals cooler, less chance of overheating, all of that. Because these things are going to be running hot. So there's going to need to be some good cooling, good airflow. But yeah, I mean, for because it's single purpose, I think it's fairly straightforward to make sure that there is like a very effective airflow going through it, because it's going to be the same thing. I mean, with PCs, you've got different shaped cases, different like exhausts, and different places for air to come in and out. So I think, yeah. So I imagine that its larger size is just to show that it's not going to be that sophisticated in terms of that, and hopefully, yeah, like you said, it's going to be a lower price because of it.
Yeah, here's open. But yeah, I think you have to
Yeah.
imagine we're super close from an actual price announcement and then the opening up the floodgates to actually reserve it. I would say maybe we're in July now. We think like August or end of July? Because I know Xbox has their first party event in July, and there's people theorizing, do they wait till after that event? Is Xbox going to have their pre-orders at that first party reveal event that they have in July? Are they going to wait? And everyone's kind of waiting for the price,
Mm.
for the shoe to drop. But it's got to be and we keep saying that, but we're got to be super close to actually getting a price nailed down.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.